Good morning, my name is Dr. Shilpa Shidule. Today we are going to study about plant morphology of FYBSc Botany paper 2nd, semester 1st, credit 1st. So, plant morphology, Botany paper 2nd, semester 1st, credit 1st of class FYBSc. So, what is the plant morphology? Plant morphology is a field of botany which dealing with the gross external structure of plant organs. So, morphology forms the basis of taxonomic description and generally constitutes the most important data in delimiting and mark out plant groups. So, the study of plants is done with different angles and aspects. For example, when we study external characters, it is known as morphology. And if we study the internal structure, it is known as anatomy. So, what is the scientific definition of the plant morphology? Plant morphology is defined as the branch of botany dealing with external features or characters or structures of a plant. So, plant morphology is also called as phytomorphology, and it is the study of physical form and external structure of the plants. So, which external structure? For example, size and shape of whole plant, or leaf, root, stem, flower, fruit, and even seed is studied under the morphology. So, what is the definition? Plant morphology is branch of botany which dealing with external features of the plant. So, the habit of any plant, such as either it is herb, shrub, climber, tree, this is the morphological nature of the plant. Okay, so which character in fruits and seeds, the color of flowers or color of fruit, color of seed are also described in the morphology. So, in morphology, we used two terminologies, that is descriptive morphology and interpretative morphology. So, what is the descriptive morphology and what is the interpretative morphology? So, in descriptive morphology, we study the form and structure of organism without consideration of function. So, in descriptive morphology, we have to study only form and structure of the organisms without consideration of function. While in descriptive morphology, the morphological characters are broadly described. Okay, it gives detailed description of plant body. For example, in root system, either it is taproot or adventitious root. If there is stem, then in stem, either it is rectangular or quadrangular or cylindrical. Okay, so if there is a flower, in flower there are different external characters like either it is actinomorphic or zygomorphic or complete or incomplete. Okay, these are the characters of the flower. So, if we see seed, then there are many seed or fruits. For example, simple type of the fruit or aggregate fruit or composite fruit. So, these are the characters. Suppose we are studying the external morphology of the inflorescence, then racemose or cymose or any special type of the inflorescence. Okay, so we are going to study leaf morphology, then bearing of leaf, either it is colline and ramal or only radical, or leaf phyllotaxy of the leaf, like either it is alternate, opposite, whole, stipulate or exstipulate. These are the external characters. Okay, so detailed study of the external characters has been studied under the descriptive morphology. So, all the external characters are detailed study in the descriptive morphology. Okay, so this descriptive morphology includes morphology of vegetative as well as reproductive structure. Reproductive morphology is more varied and still very specific to a particular group of family. So the detailed study of descriptive morphology of reproductive parts led to discovery of the alternation of generation found in all plants, and this alternation of especially this is observed in the algae. So the broad description of a plant in nature or in open field is taken as field notes and is very helpful for taxonomists in classification and naming of the plants. Okay, so descriptive morphology indicates the overall architecture of the plant. This is about the descriptive morphology. Then next one is the interpretative morphology. So what is the interpretative morphology? In interpretative morphology, the study of morphological characters. Okay, so which morphological characters? Which deals with interpretation of origin, interpretation of their development, and interpretation of their phylogeny, growth pattern, etc. are studied in interpretative morphology. Okay, so on the basis of this knowledge, on the basis of this interpretative morphology knowledge, what can we do? So we can calculate or analyze the plant origin and development, correlation or correlated and interpreted and assigned to their taxonomy group. Okay, for example, particular species or any varieties or any cultivars of that particular plant. So the outcome of interpretative morphology is the identification of environmental or ecological conditions and physiological status of that particular plant. So the specific morphological variations are interpreted and analyzed to assume certain conclusions. So the similarities and differences in morphological structure between plant groups. Which plant groups? For example, like bryophytes, pteridophytes, angiosperms, gymnosperms, etc. indicate that, for example, bryophytic group has indicate that they are the primitive pteridophytes. Okay, and some pteridophytic groups or some pteridophytic lines may be ancestors of the gymnosperms. Okay, so for instance, the morphological similarities between the gymnosporic groups such as reticulate venation in leaf or male and female flowers or anatomy in natum all help us to interpret that angiosperms have evolved from Natallian group, which is known as proangiosperm. So this comes under the interpretative morphology. Okay, so the morphology of cephal or petal is very similar, and hence it is interpreted that the previous one has given rise to the present. So the similarities in vegetative and reproductive morphology of different groups of families of angiosperms are highly useful for the interpretation of origin and evolution of different lines of plant families in angiosperm. So the phylogenetic interrelationship among different plant group is explained and on the basis of interpretative morphology. So this is about the interpretative morphology. So what is the difference between descriptive and interpretative morphology? In descriptive morphology, or it is the branch of biology that deals with form and structure of organism without consideration of function. This is about the descriptive morphology. And what is the interpretative morphology? It is the study of morphological characters with interpretation of their origin, of their development, of their phylogeny and growth pattern, etc. So on the basis of interpretative morphological knowledge, we can interpret the plant origin and development, or the interpretative morphology, plant origin and development are analyzed, correlated and interpreted through this interpretative morphology. So this is about the descriptive morphology and interpretative morphology. Next, we are going to study the importance of morphology. So how these morphological characters, morphological study is used in various fields of the botany. So first, we will study the importance of morphology in identification. So how this morphology used in identification. So there are many systems of the classification. Okay, so either artificial system or natural system or phylogenetic system. There are many systems. So plant classification was based on their habit and morphological characters. For example, Theophrastus, or we know Theophrastus is known as the father of botany, and he had classified all plant group into 4 groups on the basis of their morphological character, that is height. He considered height for the classification of whole group, and he classified all plants into 4 groups, that is herbs, shrubs, undershrubs and trees. So this Theophrastus used morphological character, that is height, for the classification. Other taxonomists, other scientists, other botanists use morphology of flowers, morphology of fruits, morphology of seeds for classifying the plants. So there are 3 systems, that is Linnaeus gives artificial system, Bentham and Hooker gives natural system, okay, England and Prandtl gives phylogenetic system. Okay, so chemotaxonomy, molecular taxonomy, the systems have to first consider the broad base of classification. Okay, for example, or that is morphology, morphological characters even today are considered as the most basic and essential characters in any system of the classification. So morphological features are the first and foremost characters visible to the observers of any branch of science, that is agriculture or horticulture or botany, pharmacognosy, paleobotany, plant breeding, genetics or even biotechnology. So the most commonly used morphological characters are, which are most commonly used character, that is habit of the plant, then root system of that particular plant, then height of that plant, stem, branching, phyllotaxy of the leaf, size and shape of the leaves, then its types, margins, venation, apex. Okay, so another inflorescence, in flower, number of sepal, that is calyx, number of petals, that is corolla, androecium, gynoecium. These characters, then pollen grains, seeds, fruits, fruit size, shape. These characters are commonly used for the identification. Okay, so all these morphological characters have immense value in identification of the plant. So here, this is use of the morphology in identification. Next, importance of morphology in nomenclature. Okay, so what is the nomenclature? Nomenclature means giving the name to the plant. Okay, so in taxonomy there is binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature is followed. Okay, so binomial nomenclature means first name is always genus and second name is always species. Means every plant have 2 names. First is genus name and another one is the species name. So this name or naming of the plants is according to rules of ICBN. That is, ICBN means International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So this genus name and species name of plants is according to the rules of the ICBN. So first name should be genus and second name is the species. Okay, so the name of the species of genera are given in different manner. So these names may be according to the place of origin. Okay, for example, see First example is the Mangifera indica. So this Mangifera indica, commonly known as mango, and it species name indica, it indicates that the origin of mango is in India. So second example we can see, that is Bahonia purpurea. So this plant Bahonia purpurea, Bahonia genus is named, this genus name Bahonia is named by the name or after John and Caspar Bahonin, who were Swiss herbalists. On the basis of the name of these two botanists, herbalists, the name has given the genus Bahonia purpurea. Bahonia. So similar to this, in many plants, botanical name is given according to their specific or special morphological characters that is found in them. Okay. So in many plants, morphological characters are used in botanical nomenclature so that it will be easy to identify the plants in nature. So we can see there are several examples in plant kingdom or taxonomy where leaf morphology is used to name the species or genus. Okay, so we can see some important example like Ginkgo biloba. Okay, in Ginkgo the leaves are bilobe, hence the name of that species is Ginkgo biloba. Then next one is, we can see Ipomea simplicifolia and Ipomea palmata. These are one genus and with two different species, that is the simplicifolia and palmata. Okay, so the leaves are simple as compared to other genera. So name has given that Ipomea simplicifolia, while in other species the leaves are palm-like. Hence the species is Ipomea palmata. The next example, Capparis aphylla. So in Capparis the leaves are totally absent. There are no leaves. Hence the name of that particular species is Capparis aphylla. Then next, Polyalthia longifolia. In the genus Polyalthia, the leaves are long and hence the name of species is Polyalthia longifolia. In one another species, that is in Rubia, the leaves are heart-shaped, hence the name is Rubia cordifolia. Then same like leaf morphology, fruit is also used in naming the plants. For example, Cassia fistula, because the fruit, that is the pods, are just like long pipe, and in Greek the fistula means pipe. So name has given Cassia fistula because fruits are just as like long pipe. Or another example we can see racemose, Asparagus racemose. Okay, so some plants, the specific type of inflorescence may become the name of its species. For example, Asparagus racemosus, which shows raceme type of the inflorescence. So what is the raceme? Acropetal succession is there, younger at the top, older at the base. This is the racemous type of the inflorescence. On the basis of the inflorescence, the species name has given, that is Asparagus racemosus. So all these specific epithets are coined as per article number 23 of the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So in these mostly special morphological characters are considered. So this is about the nomenclature and importance of nomenclature, importance of morphology in nomenclature. Then next, classification. How the morphology is important in classification, or importance of the morphology in classification. So all we know, artificial system of the classification which is proposed by Linnaeus, and all we know that Linnaeus is the father of taxonomy and father of botany is Theophrastus, while the father of taxonomy or father of modern botany is known as the Linnaeus, while the father of botany was Theophrastus, and father of modern botany is considered as the Linnaeus, known as the father of the taxonomy or father of modern botany. He proposed a artificial system, or also called as the sexual system of the classification, and which is completely based on morphological characters of that plant. So the best natural system of classification, and we used for our practical purpose, that is the Bentham and Hooker system, is also based on purely morphological characters. So another one, that is the natural system classification of plant, is most practical and highly useful in nature for classification of plants. So Bentham and Hooker system is natural system, is most popular system. Then third one is the Engler and Prandtl system, that is based on the phylogenetic characters. It also given due importance to morphology along with anatomy, embryology, presence or absence of flower, okay, or the main criteria. And on the basis of these criteria, he divided the whole plant kingdom into phanerogams and cryptogams. So the phanerogams were again classified into gymnosperms and angiosperms. It is only on the basis of seed morphology, or seeds are enclosed into ovary or exposed outside. So this morphology is used for the classification. Some morphological characters are used by all taxonomists because they are easily visible and can be conveniently employed in the classification. So we will see one by one. First one is the habit. So in morphology, how the character habit is useful to mark out particular plant or family of plant. So habit, the characters habit are useful by different ways. For example, Hutchinson classified plants into two groups, that is woody and herbaceous. Okay, so woody and herbaceous characters among plants were used by in his classification. He separated dicots into two groups, that is woody plants as Lignaceae and herbaceous plants as Herbaceae. Okay, another habit character we can see, that in Pinus, bark characters are used for identification of species. So this is about the habit. Then next one is the underground parts. So the underground part, either it is bulb or root. So the character of bulb is important in separation and identification of well-known genus, that is Allium. So this Allium is divided into two different species, that is bulb is clustered on rootstock as in Allium sativum. In garlic, the roots are clustered, while the bulb is not clustered in rootstock, that is Allium cepa. What is the difference between onion and garlic? Bulb is clustered on rootstock in garlic, while the bulb is not clustered in rootstock in onion. So this is on the basis of this bulb morphology, the genus Allium is divided into two species, Allium sativum and Allium cepa. So third character is leaves. So leaves are also very important for identification different palms like foxtail palm, areca palm, then fishtail palm, then fan palm. These are different types of bottle palm. These are different types of the palm which can differentiate on the basis of their leaf morphology. So another salix and populars also having the great variations their leaf, and they are classified on the basis of leaf morphology. Another best example we can see Azadirachta. Azadirachta has been separated from the genus Melia only on the basis of leaves or variations in the leaves. Like Azadirachta has unipinnate leaves and Melia has bipinnate leaves. So these Azadirachta and Melia is completely divided on the basis of their variations in the leaves. And leaf venation is also important for the identification of the species Ulmus and Tilia. Here in this species also Ulmus and Tilia, the leaf venation takes place for the classification. Then another best example, morphological example, we can see like interpetiolar stipules are only present in the family Rubiaceae, means it is useful for identification of family Rubiaceae, that is interpetiolar stipule is present in the leaves. So this is about the morphological use in the classification. Then next one is the reproductive sources. So how these reproductive sources are used for the classification, or for example inflorescence. Inflorescence is also significant in identification of plant families. For example, racemose and cymose are the main two inflorescences. However, some of the plant families are recognized by special types of the inflorescence. For example, Cyathea in Euphorbiaceae, Verticillester in Landiaceae, Hyphanthodium in Moraceae, head or capitulum in Asteraceae, and umbel inflorescence is Umbelaceae. So other floral characters also important in taxonomy, that is fusion of petals separated dipods into two subclasses, that is polypetalae and gamopetalae. However, presence of perianth is an important feature of monoclymedy or apetalae. So this is about the reproductive source. Then we can see flower, how these flowers used for classification. So floral characters are most important character. Then other morphological characters like calyx of Lamiaceae, corolla of Fabaceae, that is Papilionaceae. Then diadanthus stamens of Fabaceae, carpels in Caryophyllaceae, or gynobasic style is characteristics of Lamiaceae. Then family Euphorbiaceae is characterized by Cyathea inflorescence, where female flower is covered by a cluster of male flower. One stamen represents one male flower. This is the distinguishing feature of the family Euphorbiaceae. Then next fruit, how this fruit are also characters widely used in identification. Two genera from family Liliaceae and Chlorophytum and Anthocerium are differentiated on the basis of number and shape of the seeds or hairy outgrowth on the testa. Their length and color provide useful characters in differentiation of genera and species of family Malvaceae, Convolvulaceae, Asclepiadaceae and Acanthaceae. So these fruits characters or flower characters are used for the classification. Then next, phylogeny and plant breeding. So an evolutionary sequence, that is origin and interrelationship between different plant groups, is often interpreted on the basis of phylogenetic relationship between them. So the similarities as well as dissimilarities in morphological features of higher plants like angiosperms and gymnosperms, as well as lower plants like halophytes, bryophytes, pteridophytes. These groups had played a major role in tracing the origin of subgroup, classes, order and families of the above groups of plants. So how we will see next how the importance of morphology in plant breeding. So plant breeding and hybridization is great importance in crop improvement. Thousands of high yielding and disease resistant hybrid varieties in pulses, in cereals, in millets, oilseed plants, fiber plants, floriculture, fruits, horticulture, vegetables are the gift of technology of plant breeding, and in fact this branch is the basis of green revolution in India. So the selection of male and female parent is breeding is the first and foremost step, which is based on their important morphological feature. So these morphological characters are also useful in the plant breeding. So These are about the importance of the morphology. Thank you.